free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Welcome back to Saint2Siren Podcast. Today's episode is raw, intimate, and utterly unforgettable. I'm sitting down with Dutch, an elite companion known for his presence and discretion and the kind of intimacy powerful women rarely admit that they crave. He's worked with women in Hollywood and high-level executive circles globally. In this conversation, we go way beyond the fantasy to talk about what's really being purchased here. Closeness, nervous system relief, and being held without judgment. This is our third attempt at capturing the full story. After technical difficulties, I will tell you right now, this version is the one. Let's get into it. So I am back with Dutch, my gorgeous, high-class, elite escort to the stars and powerful women globally. And as you may know, Dutch and I had met in New York, and we actually met off of the dating app Field. And how do you pronounce it, Dutch? Field. I still can't get it right after all this time.
That's all right.
And we connected, and we have this amazing synergy. And here he is back for more questions with me. I've recorded this podcast with him 3 times, so he's more than exhausted with this process.
Oh, it's such a pleasure.
I love you so much. Thank you for rolling with this. So here we go. We're going to go through the initial questions that I've asked him no less than 15 times at this point, and then we're going to hit a series of new questions. Dutch, let's start with your story. Where are you from? What did your life look like before this work?
Yeah, I originated from Europe. I moved when I was younger to the States. Moved to the States when I was younger, and pretty blue collar life. Grew up in a trailer park. Sort of living that blue collar American dream, and super humble beginnings. And 2 amazing parents, and big family. And yeah, I grew up in the country. Ended up moving to New York around 9/11, so 2001. And haven't left since. Been here ever since.
Amazing. So because we've done this story so many times, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to skip through some of this. You never had any involvement in the adult world, correct?
That's correct.
And you are in New York, you're working as a high-level security, like a bouncer for like a really nice club in New York. Is that correct?
No, I wasn't security. I ran doors, and the difference between that and security is I would get my hands dirty.
I love it. I always say that too.
Back in those days, the doorman had a lot of power. So I was running the door at a really prominent hotel, which had a speakeasy in the bottom that was, frequented by Madonna, Lenny Kravitz, and this was back in the day. And so I was there for many, many years. My night owl life started then, which then transitioned into, this work, this side of work.
So you were approached by a woman who had a mutual friend situation, and she was dealing in this kind of underbelly world of escorting and matching people and doing all of the things that kind of skirt the edges of legal society. And she set you up on what you thought was a blind date, but it turned out that it was really a pay-to-play escort situation. Is that correct?
That was a great synopsis. Yeah, she and I we're friends to this day. She was somebody who I knew really well, but didn't really understand everything that she did. And she happened to be living in the hotel at the time, actually had a business and an apartment there. And she would come down every few nights, say hi, and catch up with me outside, or watch the disaster happen outside. There are people trying to, do anything to get in. She just said to me one day, why is it that, you never pay attention to the girls that are trying to, ask you out, or you never say yes to anybody? And she said, well, yeah, I'd like to set you up with a girlfriend of mine. She lives in LA, and I'm sure you'd have a great time. And would you trust me to do this? I said, of course. Yeah, it's kind of cool. So she said, you'll fly out tomorrow. I'm going to fly you out to meet her. I really think it'd be great. So I landed. I was picked up by a car service and brought to a hotel, which I thought was very strange, having never met this person and didn't really know what to expect. And there was a tuxedo in my closet at the hotel. I was staying at the Chateau at the time.
Chateau Marmont?
Yeah, which is like such a great hotel. And it was kind of all weird, storybookish. Didn't really know what to expect, but I was rolling with it. And this woman then came to pick me up. She texted me, and it was somebody I recognized right away, the entertainment world. And I was going to be your date for a red carpet event, a pretty prominent one. So that was super fun. And with
your head spinning?
Totally. but also like I'm being cool. I'm trying to play cool because I have no idea. I'm just like, what an amazing opportunity to meet this woman. Stunning. I wasn't nervous. I was just really excited. I'd only been to LA maybe once before. So this is kind of cool. Just a country bumpkin going to La La Land. And so, yeah, it was great. We had an amazing day, amazing night. I ended up going back to her place, spending the night there. Again, the next day we met for lunch, very sort of date-ish, kind of get to know each other, soft touches and lots of eye contact and, but not a lot of public affection, just like kind of cool. And then the second night I was with her, it was amazing. And then like the movies go, she, I guess, gets out in the middle of the night to go home. She was at my place that second night. And I woke up, was going to catch a flight out. And there was a note with, an envelope full of money for me saying like, love to see you again. Thank you so much for your time. And what amazing few days or something, So
your head must have been spinning. Like
it was pretty awesome. It was super empowering, to be honest. Like what an amazing few days and like, it wasn't like, why am I being paid? It was like, and I'm being paid. So I knew right away it felt familiar for being unfamiliar, which is a really weird thing to say, but it felt really good. And then to be like, oh, I'm getting compensated for this. Like, hell yeah. So I get back, obviously.
How old were you at the time?
Oh, it's a great question. I was in my, I think, late 20s.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. She was slightly older than me. I think she was in her early 30s.
Okay.
In the movies, the whole nine. And I thought actually, because I knew who she was, I thought that she was married, but she'd been quietly separated or / divorced and was just looking for, some companionship and someone that was kind and I guess, tall and, felt good and safe.
And tall you are. How tall are you?
I'm 6'5".
What size is your shoe? It's my favorite.
15.
Favorite stats on you. I love this.
So, I mean, she was very petite and stunning, but just like it was interesting, the dynamic there. So,
was it hard not to be starstruck, like to play it cool?
Oh, you know why? Because, I have to remember, I was running doors at some of the most elite, prominent nightclubs in the country. I was working between Miami and New York at that time, being, flown in by DJs and other promoters and things like that to run doors because I was pretty recognizable. I was in Ibiza for quite a while. So I wasn't starstruck because those people had to have me on speed dial at that time, to get in.
Oh, that's amazing. So you're building your book, your little black book of contacts, and this is just right in the same milieu that you were working in all along, but it's just a slightly different twist.
Absolutely. I mean, those are all non-sexual contacts, right? There was just very much access to those for those people to breach those doors, because if you're stuck outside, this is when like TMZ was like booming. And if you were stuck outside of a club in LA, Miami, New York, and you were somebody, your career was going to get exposed. You were going to get exposed. So it was better that they played nice with me there and had me on speed dial. So those relationships were great. Yeah. Because none of them were transactional.
All right. So let's move into what surprised you the most when you started this. Now, take me back. So you've done your first kind of gig with this famous woman. You go back and you say to the friend.
Yeah. So when I landed, and obviously I saw her that weekend and she was very excited. Apparently I'd gotten great reviews from her friend. And, I continue to see her for 5 more years. She got remarried and then still we were meeting. So
while she was married to her new husband, you were still meeting?
Yeah.
I'm dying. Were you always flown to California for this?
I was always, my friend always was the mediator or the broker. So there was nothing, there was just being super cautious about credit cards and all that type of stuff. So that was all handled between them. And my friend was the one who ended up paying me moving forward just to protect everyone's interest. So she's super interesting though. She was pretty well known in New York City without me actually knowing for being a pimp. And I didn't realize that she was a very, very reputable in other professions, but that wasn't one that I knew of. And she had been known originally for, meeting young male models that would come from, corn-fed states to New York to make it big. And, were cutting their teeth as bartenders and waiters and whatever else. And I guess her name was synonymous with making sure that these guys got paid to do other things. And a lot of it was gay for pay, which is a term that was coined years ago, but essentially that these are straight, young straight men who are allowing other, gay men in Chelsea and at that time, Chelsea, Boys Town, to to perform oral sex on them and or, fuck men for pay. And so she was the conduit between a lot of people back then, doing this. I was the only 100% straight. And in her portfolio, I wasn't, and I never have, and I never will, interested in any type of, interactions with another man. So yeah, she came to be known as this amazing woman who connected people like that. And so,
is she still doing it today?
no, she's not actually. What's really funny is, I don't know if I ever told you this, but maybe a year ago, she called me. We see each other. Like, I literally saw her yesterday, which is really funny, in the West Village. I was driving, she was driving toward me, and I kind of swerved to go in front of her. And then she realized it was me. So I see her quite often, but about a year ago, she reached out to me and said, "Hey, I want to run something by you." And I said, "What's up?" And she said, "It's been 2 years since I've been with a man. Like, I'd love to hire you." So I saw her actually for the first time, and she paid me my rate, and we had a really fun night. She's probably about 10 years older than I am, and definitely looks a lot different after 30 years. But it was pretty funny and full circle, that she hired me because she was really missing companionship and touch. So yeah,
Unbelievable. That makes a question pop to mind for me. What happens when you find, and I'm jumping ahead in my questions because I am going to still go more through your backstory, but just on a side note, what happens when you're faced with a situation where you've been hired, it's a great gig, great pay, whether it's a regular or a brand new client, but the chemistry isn't there? What do you do?
So yeah, that's a great question. I'm really in this world, this sex worker community that I'm in, I'm really considered a picky slut. And so unfortunately for them, I don't see all clients. Like, I have to be physically attracted to you, or I have to get hard, So she was different simply I wasn't attracted to her, but I knew this was such a unique opportunity, and I couldn't say no to her. But otherwise, when I ask for people to identify themselves, and there's a vetting process that we go through as a sex worker, I
didn't know this. This is fascinating. Keep going.
Yeah, sure. So historically what happens is, if somebody reaches out, you ask them for their ID, a picture of their ID, holding their ID next to their face, and some type of link to a professional site. So usually LinkedIn. So you can verify that. And then there's other ways through checking phone records of people through apps, and also referrals from other sex workers. So that's really how you figure out who's who. But yeah, I mean, I've been blamed many times by other sex workers who just think I'm an asshole for
picky slut. I'm dead.
Yeah, not fucking everybody that is waving money in my face, because it just doesn't work that way for me. And so I take super pride in what I deliver, but I also want to be physically attracted to those people. It doesn't always happen. So, I pass on a lot of things.
So isn't there, I heard about this years ago, isn't there a place where clients will rate you or review you? So if you took a woman that you're not attractive, if you were not a picky slut and you couldn't get hard, you would get slammed on the boards, right?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, there's not a lot of cis straight male sex workers out there. Most are.
Wait, what is cis again?
It's essentially that you're attracted to the opposite sex that you were born.
Hetero, what we consider normal hetero.
Yeah, hetero. So there's something called hetero flexible, which is also guys who are straight, but they'll might be gay for pay or whatever, or might engage if they have a girlfriend or a wife that wants to be with another man, and that guy wouldn't be with a guy. Those aren't the games that I play. But yeah, there's a lot of review sites, TER and Eros and things like that, where people reviewed. But because I'm referral based, I don't show up in any of those things.
So that's amazing. That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. Okay. What is the difference between a high-class escorting from what people typically imagine? I mean, I imagine everybody thinks Pretty Woman, right?
What's the difference between what?
Whatever people imagine from movies and media.
I mean, I think there's a lot of things that fall into sex work now, right? From dancers to erotic massage to whatever,
what I do.
Doming and findoming, right? Exactly. So I think the difference, I mean, I don't call myself a high end. It just so happens that I attract, and I'm in the world of people who, don't care how much they spend for companionship or for a good time. Like if it's a repeat client, then to just have that rate with that person forever, right? But if they refer somebody else, they kind of have to earn that rate too. So for me, like high end, I think being, high end or what's another term? I don't know, like elite.
I say elite, yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's just it's probably just the price point, because it's interesting. I have sex worker escort, female escort friends who are also lovers of mine. And I look at their rates, their hourly rates, and some are 400 and some are 1,200. And I think it depends on, people want to pay their bills quicker, sooner, doing more work. And for me, it's just, my rate has always been what it's been, because I know I put out a good product and, I'm highly referred by people. So yeah, I think if that answers your question.
It does. How important are discretion, emotional intelligence, and boundaries in what you do?
Those are definitely very important. Discretion for me has always been the most important, simply because I live a vanilla life also. Vanilla meaning non-sex worker life. So I'm not having people sign NDAs, but I'm also only meeting people that are referred by current customers and clients of mine. So, and, I'm not like found all over the internet. I don't advertise myself. I don't do any of that. So that would answer the discretion part. What were the other two?
It was emotional intelligence and boundaries. And by the way, on a quick note, anybody who's interested in hiring Dutch, you will have to reach out to me on Instagram or on Saint2Siren. I'm on Instagram. I'm at the Violatrix, Violatrix, or my website, Saint2Siren, admin at Saint2Siren.com, and I will make sure your messages get directly to Dutch. So the second and third were emotional intelligence and boundaries.
I mean, emotional intelligence, I kind of expect that from all people that are in my life, so but boundaries are super important. It's one of the, when I've had a client and we discuss things, even before talking about rates, it's about boundaries. So everyone has limitations. Everyone has things that they want to achieve. Everyone has things that they may want to stay away from. So those things are discussed very openly on a conversation. It's time that they pay for. It's also something that's really important. I always use the term setting the table properly. So, when you're spending that type of money and it's that intimate of a dynamic, you want to make sure that, that they as a client are getting what they are hoping for. Me as someone that they hire knows what they're looking for and what they're looking to achieve and what they're desiring. So, if people have trauma, if people have desires, if people have kinks that they really want to explore, or trauma that they want, or things that they want to stay away from, you have to communicate those things. So boundaries are really, really important.
Oh, that's interesting. We also talked, you and I spoke before about your rate and how it works, that you have how you collect the money, what pay services you use, your process 24 or 48 hours a week before. And then if someone goes over or they want a night, a weekend, or take you away, can you cover any and all of that you care to?
Yeah, I mean, my hourly rate is on the higher end simply because I've been doing this a long time. And I know, for me, it's people know what they're going to get now. So if you're being referred by somebody else, then that's not a big deal. For me, it's not like a Chinese menu. Right. I kind of liken it to that. So
that's so funny.
I see clients for a 2.5 hour movie, dinner before and then a movie, or I see clients for, happy hour cocktails and then dinner, and there's no physical, but the price is the same. Like the hourly rate is the same. So you're not paying extra. You're not paying extra to suck my cock. You're not paying extra for me to do whatever it is you're hoping for on a physical versus, having a lovely martini together and having a fun dinner and going to catch a movie. So I think I differ a little bit in that. Obviously things, people extend. So I had a situation recently. This is interesting. So somebody I've seen in the past, but I hadn't seen her maybe in a year. And so she was running 45 minutes late. Well, our date started at 7:00. So she reached out at 7:45 around that time saying, I'm so sorry, I'm late. And she got in at around 8:15. So I was sitting in the bar by myself having, cocktails but an hour and 15 minutes later, she shows up, but that hour is paid for because my time is valuable as is theirs. So, and then they extend. So she's like, oh my God, I know I only had you for 2 hours. So can we extend for another 2 hours? And, it's a really simple kind of no pressure exchange.
And if they go short on time, you don't do any refunds.
No. Because a lot of times, listen, I'm rarely hired for an hour. My minimum is usually 90 minutes. And that's often a cucking situation or that's something else, but, or just cocktails, right? For 90 minutes or a dinner for 90 minutes. But if someone wants to extend, we just discuss it. I set a timer and I might say to them, hey, listen, we're coming up on the end of our date. Would you like to extend? And if they did, then we would just transact there.
Oh, that's so interesting. I like how you handle that transition.
Yeah. And leading up to it, if it's somebody that books me, for next Tuesday, I require a 50% deposit at least 24 hours ahead of time. So you can lead that with your doorman, you can leave that at a place of work, you can leave that at a bakery, you can leave that with a friend. If for international clients, I accept crypto, so that's no problem. But I don't do Zells and Venmos and all that stuff simply because, it's a privacy issue for me. So, for me, 50% deposit, non-refundable. So if you have to bail or you can't make it, oh well, it doesn't go towards a credit. It's an unfortunate thing to happen. But, I gave up other opportunities to see that person.
Absolutely. It's a non-refundable deposit, which is...
Yeah. And then the other 50% is paid when I show up. So if it's a hotel, discreetly in an envelope left in the bathroom for me, I always come in, I shower, I expect the same from my clients. And it's just, it's never an issue. And it's always communication. So I want to make sure that one, the table is set properly, but also that it's a really comfortable, safe place for people to communicate. So if somebody's saying, I'd really... I know I have you for 3 hours, but what would it take for you to spend the night? And I just want to be snuggled or spoon tonight and you can leave in the morning. So it's a 6 hours and overnight. And I have a rate for that. So we just discuss.
Wait, do you mind me asking, what does that run someone if they want you to spoon them for 6 hours?
Let's say that they hired me for the first 2 hours, let's say from 7 to 9 or 9 to 11 or whatever. And then they're like, would you like to come back to my place? And we would talk about that. Do you want me to spend a night? Well, yes. Then it goes anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000 for an overnight.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned...
Listen, these are also people who are spending, $2,000 to $3,000 a night on a hotel and beautiful wine. So for them, and it's not just pounding pussy all night. A lot of it is having somebody that's, maybe my size laying next to them and really making them feel special and making them feel felt, and safe. So
that is I'm about to get the greatest soundbite from that. But say somebody does want you to pound their pussy for 6 to 8 hours, can you?
Oh, of course. I mean, I've never met anyone that wants that, but I have had situations where it starts out as a cucking situation where a husband will hire me. It happens to be that a lot of foreigners are hiring me for cucking. So a lot of...
When you say foreigners, can you give me an idea of the countries?
Yeah, it's the UK, it's Australia, and France. Of course, the three.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Yeah, and they're very forward about it. They'll send you pictures of their wives or their girlfriends. And I saw somebody last month, it was a 20-year wedding anniversary. And I was they're surprised. So I showed up at the bar and I was asked to she'd really love to flirt with you. I'm sure she'll love to flirt with you. What's also really important for me is making sure that person that I'm going to physically see, that I have their blessing and their right.
Right.
I have guys that reach out to me that say, I want you to fuck my wife later or tomorrow or whatever. But I have to communicate directly with the women as well, because I won't show up if it's not okay with her. So I then have a conversation with her. I ask her desires, her needs, and why she wants to do this. And it's, I guess it's a little therapeutic.
Yeah.
But also that is consensual, because this isn't, I'm not fucking some wife because the husband really wants it and she doesn't. That's not fun for me. So
are there any factors that influence your pricing? The time, discretion, preparation, emotional labor?
Wow, that's a great question. I mean, discretion doesn't have anything to do with price. It's always discreet. I would say holidays, those are big for me. So if I'm taking away from other things, I know that also people are willing to spend a little bit more money when they're in town for Christmas or Thanksgiving or New Year's and things like that. So my price goes up a little bit, but not so much. I'm not price gouging or surging. So, but there are situations where people ask for other things that maybe aren't in my repertoire. So it might be that somebody wants to be urinated on, or somebody wants to be, take a shower, be urinated on, or there's lots of different things. I might add a few zeros to the end of whatever that might be.
Okay.
Because it's really something that I don't often do, but it's important to them. And if I can provide it, then, I might do that. But no, for the most part, my rate is my rate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love it. This is so good. How do you screen the clients and protect your safety and reputation? That you pretty much covered, which was you work largely on referral. Dutch, do you have somebody like a bodyguard of some sort you ever take with you? Your size, I wouldn't think so, or do you have somebody that drives you, like a driver? Do you have someone that goes and picks up the money for you? Do you have handlers of any sort?
No, I don't. And, this is part of having control of all factors. So I'm 6'5", 220 pounds. So for me, I don't, and I mainly see women. If I see couples, the one thing I usually do is we meet in a neutral place. So it could be a hotel bar. It could be a restaurant. It could be in a lobby, somewhere like that, versus going straight to a room. But I have women who, I saw somebody a few months ago that came into town and she was into deprivation, sound and sight. So, and she had, she wanted to play full deprivation play. So, and she wanted it recorded. So for example, I showed up to the hotel. I knew what room she was in. She paid for my Uber to get there. I was left a key at the door. It was a whole thing that she had fantasized about. So, and then I was recording it on my phone. So I got to the door opened, she was on her knees. She had a leash on. She had her hands behind her back. She had a full, leather mask on, couldn't see. And her only rules were that there was no talking and that I would come on her face. She'd pay me for 3 hours and she didn't care if I came in 10 minutes, 30 minutes or an hour. Wouldn't matter. So her thing was having that video, right? And a lot of it was touch. So she didn't know if I was on her left, her right, her front, her back while she was on her knees. So a lot of it was very much because of the deprivation, where am I? So.
Did you enjoy it?
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Yeah. I'll share the video. I'll share the video with you. I have it. It's great.
Oh my God, I'd love to see it. You didn't come in 10 minutes, did you?
No, of course not. But I also didn't stay for 3 hours. It's really interesting, but she's my service sub. So she lives out west and every week I send her a list of tasks that her kink is service and being task oriented. So I might send her a list of things like, what are the best house plans for low light? Or what are the process of having my passport renewed? Or what's the best vacuum on the market? Whatever. And I send her all these things at the end of each week. She sends me all my information back that I've asked for, tallies up the hours, and then she pays me per hour that she's worked on it. And then, she's kink. Sure, she has a kink for it.
You said she pays you?
Yeah, because she has a praise kink. So as long as I tell her that she's done an amazing job, she's such an asset to my life and getting things done, she just loves that. So that's the person I saw. Yeah, and so a lot of it is very situational. I think, to go into, what people are desiring out there. It's not just, fucking. It's a lot of it is what they're not getting out, what they fantasize with their significant other, or what they haven't been able to have other men do,
Incredible. So, what do you enjoy most about your work?
That's a good question. I actually love the lead up. I love the communication leading up to it. I think, talking to people and hearing them tell me exactly what it is they want is probably my kink. I just love if somebody can really communicate what the desires are. That's really exciting for me.
Does every man that you meet, are they that knows what you do? Are you the envy of all your friends? I can't imagine that you're not.
Absolutely. Yeah, my stuff is, my very, 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 very closest friends obviously know, maybe less than a handful. Yeah, I think both female and males that know what I do are always wondering, what happened this weekend or what happened, tell me a story type of thing. So I often have them, so it's fun for me to share them.
I might have to make that a weekly special with story time.
Other people's discretion of my clients is also super important. So as I see a lot of high profile people, politicians, actors, actresses, couples that are in the public eye that don't want to be, exposed. So we all have a lot to lose. And so
everybody's got something in the case.
Yeah, my client's discretion is really, really important. I have a couple in the UK that books me with really high profile people from the UK to come to New York or Miami. So it might be, anyone from a famous European soccer coach or manager who, a socialite. So, and those are NDAs. So it's really important to maintain that discretion for my clients as well, because I want to continue to see them if we have a great dynamic.
Amazing. Tell me, when do you feel most in your power during a session, mentally or emotionally or physically?
I'm hyper confident anyway, as a lover, as from a physical standpoint. So, but I think I feel the most power situationally, probably as in a situation where a husband is, being told by me what to do or what not to do, completely clothed in the corner.
God knows I know it.
Yeah. And watching, his wife or significant other, with me. And I might engage them. So for example, if I had a situation as of last week or the week before that somebody was sitting in a chair in a hotel, I had their wife there put her hands on his knees facing him while I was behind her. And I put my big ass feet on his leg, on his thigh to get more leverage to fuck her properly while she's, holding onto his knees and looking into his eyes. So he's not only got her hands, but he has my foot on his knee,
He would have lost his mind.
He did. Yeah. It was great.
That was, oh my God, I love it.
Those are powerful moments for me. Those are times where I think like everyone's in a really good place and I have full control of the dynamic. So
when don't you? Dutch, if you could design your dream session, what would it be?
Oh man.
What would it look like? Or dream client, any dream situation?
Well, I'll be honest. It was a couple, but I met you about a month ago and I've been watching your stuff and you've told me a lot about your clients. I think you and I should do something with one of your clients, honestly. I think that would be so much fun because I know the respect that you demand from your clients, how much they trust you and how much they get from your connection. And I think that would be so much fun.
I would so love to take my nectar.
I don't know if that's out of your Chinese menu, but
it is.
Yeah, that would be really, really exciting just to get a little personal.
Combining power like that. Yeah. I mean, I've always told my clients like for 20 years, 18 years, I don't see anybody in person. I don't do IRL, but for sure, especially the way my brand is kind of growing and I really didn't know where it was going to go. This is like the next logical conclusion of evolution of the Violatrix. So I would love it. How much?
Sure, get them to come to New York or get some, like if any of your New York clients would ever want to fly you in and put you up, and that would be insanely fun.
Are you listening, clients? And for those of you, they always say you have to put out there in the universe what you want. So Dutch and I are looking for several things. Any like high level, we'll take an oligarch. We'll take like a sheik, from Dubai. We will take
honestly, anyone that would have already fantasized about you, right? That watch you or that engage with you and that are already working with you. Somebody that would want to take it to the next level and also see you in person, if that was something you'd be open to, that would be really fun. I think the other thing that has always interested me and from a fantasy standpoint was to be with a female married couple.
Oh.
Which, it just happened. So it was really, this is great. They're a well-known lesbian married couple.
No, what would a lesbian couple want with you? I'm so curious.
Yeah, that's a great question. So they fantasize about having dick. So, and one of them hadn't been with a man in 30 years, the other one probably 25 years. They have children and neither of them are interested in dating men, but I was referred to somebody else. And I've always been a fantasy of theirs, I guess, too, to have sort of this neutral, respectful, kind and, hung man that can fuck both of them.
What did you do with them, if you don't mind me asking?
It was actually like a multi-cucking session. So one sat and the other one instructed what they really wanted to have her do. And after I made her come multiple times, I did the same with the other. They both asked for completely separate things, which was really great.
Did you turn any of them straight?
I don't think so. I think that they were good at the end of it. And then, I came on both of them, which was sort of like the icing on.
Literally.
So it was so great.
This is so good. What qualities make a client truly memorable or ideal for you?
I think like them being very thoughtful, right? And generous is always nice. There's a lot of people who don't do this often. So they lead from a place of anxiety or fear because it's not your norm, right? To hire a giant man to make you come or to spend time with you or whatever that you don't know. But I think the ones that I'm most excited about seeing on repeat are the ones that know my value that respect my time and that keep things discreet. There's also this fine line between communication before and after. So I'm not here to text with you. I'm not your lover moving forward. I'm your escapism.
This brings up such a great point. So you FaceTimed me last week and I was getting my nails done, and the girl doing my nails, she's always curious about my life and she doesn't really understand what I do, and she's super religious, so I'm very cagey with the information I give her. But she caught on to our conversation and I gave her a very, very brief synopsis of why you and I, she just wanted to know, she's asking all these questions. So I said, okay, if you had the opportunity to ask him any questions, what would you ask him? And she said, what do you do about clients who fall in love with you?
A great question. I'll say, like, I have, for some of my clients I've been seeing for over a decade. So I have feelings for them. It would be inhumane for me not to have some type of feeling towards them. Interesting. I understand why they're messaging me and why they want to get together with me. I understand that they have the same stresses and stressors of being married or finding a lover, or finding a boyfriend, or not having physical touch with anyone, or raising children, or whatever it might be. So I have a deep emotional connection with a lot of my clients. I have had people that have, said, like, I literally think I'm falling in love with you, but it's probably because they've never felt that way before. They've never been made to feel the way that I make them feel. So I think, I kind of brush it off. And that's what I said earlier about, like, people want to message me, hey, just checking in, how's your day? Like that type of stuff. I don't engage with that because my time is valuable. So if you want to sext with me, or if you want to do things like that, you know how this is, you pay for that. It's a very start and stop for me.
Which is smart. And that's really the only way to do it.
Yeah.
Anything that the media oversimplifies or misunderstands about this in media or pop culture. And what I'm going to do is, after you answer this, we're going to rapid fire the last 20 questions about media, pop culture. Go.
Yeah. I don't know what the misconceptions honestly are. I think, if you're asking people that have never hired a sex worker in any facet, what that stereotype might be, it's probably, oh, they're disgusting, they're sluts, they're broke, they're, desperate. And I mean, more than 95% of the sex workers that are in my life really enjoy their work. So they're not doing it simply because it's beneficial financially for them, but because they enjoy making people feel good and satisfying people's desires. So I think that's probably the biggest misconception.
Yeah, because as you said in our interview, that what's most shocking, or at least shocked me most about this, is a lot of the high-level, global, influential executive women that hire you are looking for companionship, not penetration.
Yeah, I would say it's 8 out of 10. Which is a big number.
That is.
8 out of 10 are really looking to be felt like they want to feel that they're being heard. They want to feel like they're being acknowledged, seen, felt, and, everything else is just gravy. I have obviously that whatever the other 20% of people is really people that are desperately looking to get fucked. Right?
Okay. What is your advice for men or women that are listening to this and they're like, I want to do this, I want to get into this? What's going to be your advice to them?
Oh man, I've never been asked that.
Where do they start? What should they know?
I think you just really have to understand that how to separate physical from emotional, right? This is still a job that you're being paid for, but your job is to also make sure that people are satisfied with your work. So if it's a woman that wants to get into this, I think everything is different, right? Like, I believe if you want to be a findom, or if you want to be a power dom or whatever, then you should be actually training and apprenticing with someone. So that would be the first thing. This is like, if you want to become a tattoo artist, or if you want to become a butcher, like, you have to apprentice for people that have been doing this so they can show you the tricks of the trade and really learn from the best.
Do you offer apprenticeship with people?
I do, yeah, actually. I started a company a few years back and I started to do that.
Why is this the first I'm hearing of this, Dutch?
Well, it's because I think, and it was interesting, it was actually, funny enough, the first person that I apprenticed was a guy that hired me to be with his wife. And he was super handsome. They're swingers as a couple, in their private life. And hiring a sex worker was always exciting for them. And then, I was she had mentioned that he really wants to get into this. I took him on as a client. So he paid me a retainer. It was like a 90-day sort of sprint to the finish of the ins and outs and how to set things up and how to maybe turn a lover into a client and how to get your name out there a little bit while also be discreet, things like that. So
how to turn a lover into a client. I am utterly fascinated that is even possible.
Yeah, I mean, the person that's my service sub was a lover of mine. So, you just have to dig a little bit to figure out what it is that they're really looking for. And that tends to sort of show itself after some time,
But the idea, especially given that I'm a findom and doing this for so many years, and I consider myself to be of the most talented and with an executive sales background, the idea of turning a non-paying lover into a pay-to-play client has my mind exploding. That's a conversion I didn't even know could exist.
Yeah, and I also think there's I put a super high value on what I give to people, right? Whether they're lovers or whether they're transactional clients. So even my lovers are, they're getting the best of me. So, and, a lot of them don't know that I'm a sex worker. They just know Puck really well and they keep coming back and we have an amazing connections. But yeah, some people are open to it.
How do you broach that topic?
It's just over time. You just, something clicks and you just say, hey, I want to let you know what I've been doing. And what's interesting is I've had lovers that say, oh my God, I have so many women that would hire you. Right. And I'll go, okay, well, then let's get to meeting them. That's really how it all goes down.
Amazing. My mind is blown. Okay. So we covered has anybody fallen in love with you? What's the difference between chemistry and performance?
Well, chemistry, I think, there's physical and emotional chemistry, but I think it's always trying to figure out how to achieve the goal of desire or what their kinks are, right? So if it's, oh my God, I haven't orgasm from penetration in years or months and I'm dying for that, that's pretty easy to achieve. If no one's ever squirted before, like getting them to do that. So I don't know if that answers your question.
It does.
I think, yeah.
I didn't even know those were on the Chinese food menu list. I love this. Have you ever had to fire a client who crossed a line?
I've definitely stopped taking the calls or block people. So I can't stand when people are late or if they cancel a lot. And even though I'm keeping deposits, it just ends up being a little bit of a nuisance to me because I could be doing other things or nothing, but it's just it's a matter of respect for me. So if you don't follow up or you start conversations and then it ends up nowhere, it's just a time waster, and
absolutely.
You run into a lot of people like that. And listen, I also understand that this is not the norm. Hiring a sex worker, whether it's a male or female or a dom or whatever it might be, is not the norm. So it takes a lot of guts to follow through to it actually happening, but time wasters are the worst for me. So if you end up doing that too many times, that's it. You're blacklisted. And it's just blacklisted with me. Like there's things within the sex worker community, and there's in New York, for example, there's a signal chat that's about 900 people that talks about specific people. And if you fuck around and you don't do what you say you're going to do, you're disrespectful to people, then you're blacklisted, not just by me, but by the entire community.
I was just going to say, get on that blacklist. Have you ever personally become jealous or emotionally attached to a client in a way that surprised you?
Never. I don't think I was born with a jealous bone in my body.
Wow.
I have lovers and I've had girlfriends, like proper, monogamous relationships that, somebody says like, oh, my boyfriend from like many years ago is in town and I just see him in years. I was going to grab dinner with him and I'm like, of course you should, like, you guys have crazy history, but I'll see you later. Like I've been blamed for not caring sometimes. So, but it's also because I trust the other human being, but I'm also like, I don't want that for me. So yeah, no, I don't have, and by the way, I say no to people and I pass them on to other people. If someone says, oh, I want you to findom me, I know what I'm good at. It's not findom. So I just go check out the violatrix and you should contact her and she'll give you exactly what you need. If there's somebody who wants like heavy impact play, To
explain what impact play is?
Yeah, just, really like I love verbal degradation, humiliation. I love it because it's all part of like cucking if it's discussed. But if someone wants to be ball gagged or if they want to do like breath play, which is like, if you have to learn how to do this so it's safe, but getting people to a place where they're just about to lose consciousness and then you bring them back. And, that's the stuff I don't play around with. There's people who are really into medical. So it's like, love to be cut or love to have blood drawn or love to have that. That is not for me.
That's in my red line as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that I could pass it on to in the community that are really talented and can help that. Just like there's sex workers who won't fuck women. And so they'll just say, hey, I have this situation where when you see this woman, I just don't have time for her. I'm like, okay, yeah, it checks out. Sure. So.
Ooh. It's so interesting. Well, I'm really kind of winding down to our last few. What would you say is your signature that keeps your clients coming back, that keeps you being referred at top levels?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of it. The humor you mentioned, like I try to make any dynamic or situation really comfortable. And that comes sometimes making jokes, or that comes for just, diffusing the anxiety. So I think that's one thing. I think it's really listening to people and making people feel safe. I'm a big guy, I'm blessed with how hard I've worked and like what I look like. So I think that's probably part of it too. From a physical standpoint, I have a presence, right? So I think people like feeling small with me. And I also think when you have something really good and you're getting something and you're feeling so incredible afterward, people like sharing that. People like saying to their friends, you're not going to believe what just happened. This guy I met and this is what I did. That's why I think I've been at this for so long. So
what's the best and worst parts of being the ultimate fantasy for a living guy? For having the ultimate fantasy job, what's the best and worst?
I don't actually think there's a bad part. There's a worse of it, but I'll go back to, having my time wasted. That's probably the worst, but I understand where that comes from, right? The baseline of that a lot of people have a hard time pulling the trigger. The best part is that I get to make people feel incredible and I get to remain in their memory until the next time, right? And so whether it's couples or whether it's just a woman or whether it's a group of women. Yeah.
Oh my God. Do you do groups of women? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Stop it. I'm so naive to just stop.
Yeah. I had a 40th birthday of a woman who wanted to invite a client of mine who paid for 3 of her friends to come along. So it was amazing. They got a hotel suite.
Where's my friends like this?
So yeah, they all took turns and they were all fucking, and I was just the dick in the room.
I'm like, what do you do with all your money? I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, and I'll cut it out if you get mad at me for this, but like you just like errantly run around and like see a house around the world and you're like, oh, I'll buy this. I'll buy you. Like you have houses all over the world. Like what do you do with all this money, Dutch?
I'm a saver. So I find stuff to do with it.
Do you splurge on like amazing trips or champagne?
No, I don't. I'm super disciplined when it comes to that. It might be investments. I love buying gifts for people, friends and family.
So you share the wealth. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah.
What do you wish your new clients knew that your new clients don't know that your regular clients do know or understand?
That's a good question. I think I've covered a lot of it because most of the people that are listening to me don't know me.
Okay.
But I just think it's one of those things where you have to experience it.
Well, but I think what this question meant was like, when they come in and they conduct themselves or whatever, what do your regulars do that new clients wouldn't even be aware of that they should, whether it's like behavior or things that, like you said, showering, that's a given.
Oh, yeah. Like, I think it's just about the cadence, figuring out and finding out what the cadence is and getting people to understand that. So it's like everything from how you communicate, how we get to the place where you book me, how you transact with the deposit, how you verify yourself.
So you said leaving the money in the bathroom in an envelope is the right etiquette.
And also, like, listen, like, if I'm going to meet you, you're sending me a car, right? You're paying for dinner, you're paying for drinks. Like, just knowing that, like, I'm there for you. This is your fantasy, right? So making sure that they understand that my time is valuable. And I think that's one of the things you just end up learning by being with sex workers. And yes, we all want to be there, but there's a reason that we're continue to pick up your phone call and answer your WhatsApp messages or your whatever it is. It's because you're proving that our time is valuable and that you're willing to compensate us for it. So it's just, but that comes from repetition.
Okay.
So I think I would say like I treat everyone, there's people I've been with many times, they already know the deal. But if it's new clients, it's just a matter of communicating properly with people and making sure that everyone's really comfortable. They know what I expect. And that I'm going to listen to you to understand what it is you want to achieve from this as well. So,
okay. I'm down to my last two questions. Second to last question is, how do you see your career evolving for you? Is there an exit plan or a next chapter for Dutch?
I think from an evolution standpoint, I'm really happy where I am. I think probably over the next few years, I'm going to see less people simply because, my time is really valuable and I want to maybe spend it doing other things. So there will be a select few people that I continue to see and maybe some new clients. That's what I see.
Yeah. And how do people reach out to you if they want to be part of that mentorship program or apprenticeship? They can reach out the same way through my Instagram or through my Saint2Siren website?
Yeah, for now, let's have everyone reach out to you and then I can give them my Proton mail and a phone number to call and we can set something up. Yeah. Yeah, it'd be great to have them reach out to you. At least then I know that they're being vetted. Not that I won't so vet them, but at least it's coming from, a reputable source.
Dutch, what do you want people to remember about you beyond the fantasy?
I think
how unique you are.
Yeah, I think, listen, like I said, I don't think I'm built like a lot of other people or other people are built like me, but I'm an emotional human being. So, and I'm a sensitive person. So for me.
Are you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I also want to make sure people understand that I'm not a one-trick pony and that I'm not just there. And listen, if someone wants to get properly fucked, that's a different story. Yeah, I can do that. But I feel like I'm pretty multidimensional in the sense that like I work through a lot of situations with people. Some of it is the same rate and it's just phone calls, right? It's just like talking through situations or asking for advice. So I think
I didn't realize that was a service you offered. That's fascinating.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people that are foreign, right? Maybe they can't be here. So they'll say like, listen, it'll be everything from phone sex and having me make you come over the phone to, video engagements to physical engagements. So if it makes sense and everyone's willing to, play by the rules and I'm down.
Has anybody offered to fly you somewhere crazy? Like, do you accept offers like that?
Of course. Yeah. Plenty of places.
Tell me where.
Lots of countries in Europe, multiple times to the UK, multiple times to France. Recently went to Spain.
Do you have them get you a hotel room and then you check it out first? Like, how's that? Okay.
Oh yeah. No, this is like, I'm not taking on and going away for, 2 or 3 days and not being properly compensated or not going to be housed properly. Like that all has to be worked out and handled. There's a whole nother chapter of rates for that. A lot of people just can't leave. So those are situations out there where people are like, I can't leave the country because of whatever situation. So I'd like to fly you here, But often I also do stuff in Miami and LA and Dallas and, places around the country here. So that's easier.
Amazing.
And I often have other people that I bring or that I meet up with there. So like in Miami and LA and San Francisco, I have dozens and dozens of incredibly gorgeous escorts, female escorts and sex workers that I bring or I often, offer to engage when I'm there. So I might say like, if you want me there, would you like me to bring somebody with me? And if so, this is what their rate is and that type of stuff. So
yeah, we talked about this before, that you basically have an evolving roster of sex workers, escorts from all race, creed, background, size, color, ethnicity.
Yeah, it's really what, I have a client that I see often, probably once a month as a cock who just wants to watch me with people. So every month he sends me sort of, a mental Pinterest board of who he's driving on that month. It could be a redhead. It could be, an Asian. It could be very specific. Like I want a Japanese woman. I want her to be small. I want whatever. So, sometimes I don't have people like that in my network. So I find them through other sites. So I might reach out to them or might ask for referrals myself. So yeah, it's great. I love that.
Dutch, thank you. Thank you for making this a third time's a charm. Thank you for all the effort you've put into this. Is there anything else that you would like to add before I close this out that you'd like my listeners to understand or you'd like a soundbite?
No, I don't think so. I think we've covered a lot and I'm super thankful that you considered doing this. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you again personally and in the flesh. And hopefully, you'll get some interest from some of your really amazing clients.
I hope so.
Yeah, maybe we can we'll have some fun together.
I would love that. Dutch, thank you again.
Of course.
That was Dutch. Unfiltered, honest, and deeply human. There's one takeaway from this conversation. It's that power doesn't erase need. It often amplifies it. Sometimes what people are searching for isn't spectacle. It's safety, softness, and the permission to be held. If you love this episode, please share it with a friend. Subscribe. Leave me a comment below, because these are the conversations that we women don't get to have out loud nearly enough. You can find more information about me at Saint2Siren.com, LinkedIn as Pamela Cappetta, on Instagram at The Violatrix. Until next time, thank you for tuning in, and thank you for all your support.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.